people should have to show ID because it's not even the fact that, okay, you're coming over here and using our service for free. I feel like if it's an emergency, then they should be giving it. But like, are we gonna be an international health service or a national health service? There's a reason why there's a lot of cuts to the NHS, or people aren't getting their money's worth out of the NHS. It's because people are mobbing us up. They're literally flying here on a visa ticket, or because you're in the EU, you could just come over and just come in to use our healthcare. And I think that's wrong. Like, I don't think that's right, because the people that have actually lived here and paid taxes here aren't actually getting what they deserve out of the NHS.
I just think showing ID I think it's all a very big inconvenience. Right? It's basically like going to the club and realizing you ain't got ID. You're going in and it's just inconvenient. You're like, I wish I bought it, but I didn't. And now you're left outside with nothing to do and you're cold.
To be honest, only a very, very small amount of money that the NHS lacks is accounted for by health tourism. The main problem why the NHS is failing is underfunding.
Right.
Yeah, that's the actual truth. But if we can, save that 30 million, that's 30 million well saved. Clubs, you take your ID. You go to get any sort of
alcohol.
Yeah, everything you know, just quickly flash your ID and just to check that it doesn't. When you go, it's not that much of an inconvenience. This is progress. Let's embrace it as progress and let's shout and scream and say we want more.
It comes back to this year. Is it a national health service or an international health service? You want people, because this is what will happen. People from Japan that can't afford healthcare in their country will fly over to Britain, maybe pay a £20 plane ticket, fly over. That's different. That's health tourism. So let's not draw the line. And I think the reason why we're talking about this now is because of the incompetence of the government. We shouldn't even have this discussion. It should have been in place years ago. How can you have a service that's meant for the people and yet you're serving other people that aren't supposed to use the service? It makes absolutely no sense. At the end of the day, there's IDs. You need to show your ID for almost everything in this country. So it's not too much to ask for to show your ID for the single most important thing to people, healthcare.
When you go and buy alcohol, it's planned. You know you want to do that, so you know you need ID. When you're going to go to the club, it's planned. You need ID. When you're in an emergency, it's not planned.
You have no ID, and you're in a state of emergency. They don't know whether you're entitled, whether you've got health insurance or whatever. What they do is they keep you stable. So they don't say, for example, if you've been stabbed, they keep you stable. So they're not going to active surgery until they can find that. Until they can find ID, they keep you stable until they can. Now, if you do have your ID, it's not going to be impossible to find it. You can call someone, police record, it's not going to be impossible for them to find ID within that same day. And I think if we can adopt that, it's not impossible.
No. NHS services have a cost. And someone in the NHS knows that cost. Now, I believe everyone, ID or no ID, when you go to the NHS, your bill, you should be given a bill.
No.
Wait, listen. Okay. Listen. That bill, gets nullified if you present your ID as like, oh, okay, you have a bill. Right, we'll squeeze that invoice and throw it in the bin. You don't have ID, or you're not meant to be here. Here's your bill, straight on that day.
But you're not meant to be here.
You should be responsible enough to have ID with you when you want to use the health service. Because if we don't do this, people from China, people from Hong Kong, they'll come over, they'll fly over to stay for a week. They'll book probably a nice hospital. Use our health service to get maybe cosmetic. You go to the hospital, you say, look, I've got HIV, you need to treat me. And then the NHS actually send people bills. If you're not associated, they'll send you a bill. They'll be like, okay, this is your bill there. You have to pay it by a certain date. You just go back to your country. What can the NHS do?
The same way, if you owe the British taxpayer money, I don't think they should let you leave either. No, fact, they shouldn't let you leave.
It should be a criminal offence, It should be a criminal because you're stealing. British people that live here. And listen, it's the National Health Service for a reason.
You're screaming that tax is too high. Like, oh, we don't have enough this, we don't have enough that,
Listen,
but the reason why
is ruining other countries out there.
Like most people's issues seem to be like economic, financial, but like when you look at it, that issue is with the government. The Tory government aren't ever going to prioritise the NHS. The NHS is massively underfunded as it is and it has been since we've had this government. It's not going to change, it's only going to get worse. People coming from like Japan and China, if people from Japan and China are coming here they're rich to begin with. They can
Yeah,
afford to
exactly.
leave their country. If they're poor and they're coming here, they can't even afford flights. They can't afford the visa to be able to come out.
The
If
treatment
they come from a
rate-
communist country, they need to like apply to leave before they come
Okay, it's £200, and you know you could get a cheap 1 week hotel for £100. That's a total of £300. Now, if your treatment costs over £2,000, that's a very good investment. In fact, I would do it myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, we shouldn't be stupid. We shouldn't be compassionate to the point where we're stupid and be treated like mugs, because that's essentially what's happening.
Yeah.
If we're gonna say, okay, let's put money aside for people that generally are poor and need it, yeah, let's do that. But let's not allow anyone, just anyone rich that can just cut, that can do it in their own country to just come and use it.
But-
I think it's abuse.
There needs to be a deterrent to stop people from using NHS as a tourist activity.
People who have travelled several countries on foot, they've left their families, they've left everyone behind, and they've come here because this is an attractive country. And one of the most attractive things about this country is its NHS, its education system. And people are coming here, they're not, I mean, they went through Italy, they went to France, they went through Germany. They didn't stay there, they came here.